Please welcome Amy, Jason, and Jaycee Sage to the desk, to the show. Woohoo! Welcome, 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 welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you,
Certified
Jaycee.
Dale Carnegie trainer, neo leadership trainer, and devoted oneness trainer, Amy is also deeply passionate about helping others shift their inner state to achieve that profound outer transformation. So we're going to dive deep in now with Jaycee and Amy into what it truly means to live and love consciously, and how we, all of us, can create our inner world to create extraordinary results, and how each of us can begin living from a beautiful state. So, Amy, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia, so much. Thank you.
It's so wonderful to have you. And thank you, Jaycee, for joining us today. You guys were amazing on the Oneness Show. Do you want to start by telling us, everyone, briefly about that as I kind of skimmed over it? Or do you want me just to keep on going?
Whatever you want to do.
Well, we'll start with Amy. Why don't you briefly share your journey from financial professional to expert in conscientious relationship and transformation? And we'll just go, because you've got so much to talk about and the time goes by so quickly.
Yeah, thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, and thank you, Jaycee, for being here, right? So So, you know,
it's such a beautiful story, mother and daughter.
Yes. And yeah. So I started out as a CPA, financial analyst, investment banker on Wall Street. And I saw when I was working with people that it wasn't a natural way to behave, to collaborate and communicate all the time. It just was strained. And I said, gee, you know, how do we fix this in the corporate world? At the same time, I was married for 20 years, getting a divorce. And I'm saying, what the heck happened here? You know, I love my husband. I'm the only one in my family at that point to get a divorce. And what did I do wrong? And so I quickly looked to see in human relations, in human relationships, what do you do? How do we get along? How do we communicate? How do we love each other? So I became a relationship workshop leader under Allison Armstrong, and I was teaching men and women how to communicate, how to get along, how to understand each other. And we saw that all the information we were providing was useful for everybody in their corporate career. Like, how did that happen? Like, here we're talking about romantic relationships, but all the tools we were providing was helping them in their teams. So I went back to school. I got a master's in industrial organizational psychology to do training and development in the corporate world. I became a Dale Carnegie trainer, teaching the 5 factors of success. And then I was working for a Neuro Leadership Institute, the brain science of behaviors and collaboration and cooperation, to managers and leaders of Fortune 100 companies. Right. But here's the thing, and this is why Jaycee's so great. She would say, Mom, here you are, an expert in communication, but you can't even communicate with your children. And I was like, what is that? You know, I have all the tools. And then, Cynthia, I found the oneness movement, and that shifted everything. And I saw and learned that unless we operate from something called a beautiful state, and now I'm a facilitator of this workshop program called The Beautiful State, we're just managing suffering, managing upset, managing problems, or diminishing suffering, diminishing frustration, sadness, grief, but not really getting rid of it, not really coming from a loving space. And so this is what Jaycee and I were talking about, and I'll just jump to what happened to me. I was studying with the oneness movement in India, and I was listening to their curriculum, doing the protocol or the methods of what they taught which were so foreign for me. And while I'm in India, it hit me that everything I was doing as a mother, a daughter, a friend, a wife, a partner was, I can't say wrong, but wrong, ineffective. And I just broke down and said, what can I do now? And I just forgave myself, forgave what I did. And at that same time, Jaycee on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, all of a sudden started to, I think about me and say, gee, I miss my mom. I forgive my mom. I want a relationship with my mom because I shifted my state. So Jaycee, do you want to say what it was like for you? And then I'll continue how this weaves into my coaching.
Sure. Well, I just knew that you were working on yourself in India, and for me, right, like I kind of felt a shift where I felt like she wasn't going to judge me anymore, that it was kind of safe to talk to her, and I was curious to learn more about what she was learning. And we connected after her trip, which was nice, and she was a completely different person. So now I was able to find the practices for myself, which was great. And then, right, and her coaching and these meditations and things like that have really helped me every day. But you could talk more about your coaching now.
Yeah. And so what I see now that has made my practice so effective is that I weave in all the curriculum of how to honor masculine energy, feminine energy, how to honor people in relationships, whether it's between a significant other, a partner, a child, a parent, with all the tools that I've learned from Dale Carnegie, which is how to be successful, how to have self-confidence, how to have people skills, how to have a great attitude, with the brain science from Neuro Leadership Institute of knowing the brain has biases, knowing that the brain constantly wants to keep us alive and it's based in survival, and it doesn't necessarily care about love and intimacy. But with this beautiful state and coming from a place of love and connection, and I'll segue for a second, it just makes a difference. And then all of a sudden, everything changes. So what Jaycee and I, and Cynthia, you know this too, that there's only two states that we could be in. There's only two. There's no third state. So either we are up in a stressful state, a suffering state, either we're upset, unwell, off balance, we're either frustrated, have anxiety, we're fearful, we're sad, or we're not. And what's the or not is peace, calm, bliss, unperturbed calm. And if we come from unperturbed calm, which is a beautiful state, a lot of things happen. First of all, how we experience life is different. We're linked to intelligence because we don't have intelligence available to us if we're angry, upset, or frustrated. And then making decisions and acting from a non-stressful state allows the future to unfold beautifully. So instead of getting chaos in our life, we actually have beautiful synchronicities. So that's what I would say. I don't know, Jaycee, if you want to talk about your beautiful synchronicities.
Well, we could open this up to more of a conversation so that we could discuss or see if there are other questions or things. But that was nice what you shared.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
So how do you know that you're truly living in a beautiful state?
Yeah. So there's exercises we could do, there's meditations we could do. And really, what we just need to have happen is to just stop and breathe and notice. What are we experiencing at this moment? Are we experiencing worry, frustration, sadness? Or are we experiencing happiness or bliss? Are we thinking about something from the past? Are we thinking about something that might happen in the future? Or are we in the present? And yeah, like that.
Yeah, we're right here with you
Yeah.
in the present. And Grace said,
Oh, good
yeah,
question. How do you deal with trauma? Grace, thanks for that. There's curriculum that we provide in the seminar that I'm going to be leading, a workshop that I lead as a oneness facilitator called The Beautiful State, where we bring in curriculum, we bring in an opportunity to self-reflect, we bring in meditation, so we actually go back to the situation that's now running our life behind the scenes. So somehow that trauma is limiting us, keeping us safe. Thank God. We love the brain. We love survival mode because we're all here. Yay, we're alive. But what we want to do is be available to new opportunities without protecting ourselves from something that happened in the past, which may not even happen now. So in meditation, we look to see what that trauma was. We provide exercises, like I said, in India, what I was doing, and it just, with awareness, heals that trauma, that pain. Did that answer the question?
yeah. So what are like common barriers that people face in achieving lasting inner transformation?
Well, I would say it would be safety, right? Nobody wants to be hurt again. Um, Nobody wants to be exposed again to love. We also want to protect ourselves so that if we have an unpleasant past, we don't want that to happen again. And also, it's like that expression, fool me once, fool me twice. Nobody wants to be fooled again. And you want to be smart and have, I nailed that. I didn't get hurt again. At least that happened. But we're missing out on connection and intimacy if we don't, like Gracie said, heal the past and come from each situation newly.
And sometimes you didn't get it the first time, the second time, the third time, and the universe goes, hey, you know what? Let me slam dunk you one more time. Maybe you'll get it this time. Oops, you didn't get it. How about this? And you got to take each one of those and learn from it and keep going. Okay, I got through that and I could have done that better. And now I'm going to try this. Or listen to those little whispers that went, oh, almost, but.
This is beautiful what you're saying, Cynthia, because somehow there's a pattern in us that we're unaware of. It's a blind spot. And so what happens in oneness, the oneness movement and the beautiful state, we're actually going back to a blind spot, I would say an operating system or like a software system or a pattern that is running the show in our lives below our awareness. And that's why it keeps happening over and over again. And when we become aware and we shine the light on it, then we don't need to be that way. We don't need to operate that way. So I guess that's similar to what I was saying, what I learned in India. I was so being a good mother. Everything was based on, come on, I have 2 boys and a girl. They're all adults. Jaycee's the youngest. Be this, do this, be the best at the test, and get into a good college, but not necessarily doing all these winning formulas, but not realizing that I didn't allow for trust and unfolding to occur where I could trust the process of each child in their unique way, growing and developing in their essence. And I think, Jay, maybe you could say, I think that's what's happening. It's like there's no judgment, there's just love and support. Why don't you say it's silly for me to say it?
No, I mean, you're right. Like that's well, a lot of parents are always projecting on their kids or have a lot of judgment or focusing on the external. And I guess we all felt that pressure. And now my mom's completely different, where she doesn't care about those things. So she's able to just be present with me and talk with me and be with me and support me in a much different way, which is amazing and really cool to see how someone can change at any age, right? Like she was always operating in a certain way. So it's really cool that if you kind of do the work or kind of see where that comes from, you could learn to let it go, which is really nice.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Jaycee. Just beautiful. Yes, parents, it's wonderful, but let them be.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that I have some clients, and of course in the past when I was leading workshops, at some women will look to attract men focusing on their external. It's and we need to out attract other women so we could be attractive ourselves. And there's a whole shift in the paradigm when you're looking at the power of the beautiful state, where we're just looking inwards, cleaning up, like Gracie says, all the trauma. So we're just free to be. There's nothing we need to do. There's nothing, and also there's nothing outside of us that we need to acquire to make ourselves happy. We're not looking externally like, oh, when I make this much money, then I'll be happy. When I get a husband, or when I get a wife, or when I get this raise, or when I move to a bigger house, or when I get this car, or it's none of that. And we actually get the opportunity to love life now.
And you can love life now, right now, if you are grateful for what you have right now.
Yeah.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. We live like kings and queens. We live better than kings and queens back in the day. And you look around, and I just stand in the shower and go, oh, it's so wonderful that I have this warm water that I can put on any temperature at any time. Just think about the old ages when they didn't have that. And you can have so many places you can go to, but all begins with that little seed right inside of who you are. And none of that stuff matters if you aren't an interesting, happy, healthy person inside.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, is that little essence that comes out, which almost anyone can read instantly when they walk in the room, because you have your essence goes, na, 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 na. You might as well be sending out a good one that's interesting that people want to know and get to talk to you.
Yeah. Very nice.
You want to add to that, Jaycee?
No, I mean, no, nothing really comes to mind.
just being happy and enjoying the world and the weather, whatever it is. There's good things about the weather. You don't have to complain about the weather. Find something. It's watering the plants. It's making the plants grow. It's warming. It's good for us. It's Mother Nature. She's taking care of us. And everything she sends, she has to rest and get up so that she can do a beautiful sunrise and sunset. And you're just so grateful if you can enjoy those wonderful things in nature. Take a walk, feel the ground, touch the earth, touch the dirt, breathe, think of the air. Just, you emphasize the power of emotional intelligence. So what's one simple way people can begin developing it if they have let it slip? It's like food, guys. You got to get it every day. You need food, water, sleep every single day. And you can never learn enough, because one day Amy will say it in a different way. Jaycee will present in a different way. And you'll have a little light bulb and go, and suddenly the world's just that skosh bit brighter. And you're like, and that opens you up to well, what else can I be doing? What else can I be developing? What else can I see? How else can I help somebody? How else can I be kind?
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. You were talking about the weather, and I have some experiences of what I was like before, right? Or even people around me today. It's like, oh, it's raining. I knew it was going to rain. Why, how could this happen to me? It only always rains when I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing. And it's interesting how you were saying it, Cynthia, because when we live from a beautiful state, it's just what's happening. It's just unfolding beautifully like it is, and it's like what Gracie was saying. It's like if we don't have that trauma or we heal it, like that trauma is in our unconsciousness. And that consciousness, and I talk about this in The Beautiful State, it's like the dark side of the moon. Like we can't see it. So we look up, we see the moon, but there's the other side of the moon that we don't see. That's what trauma lives in, and that's unconscious. Of course, yes, you know that you have that trauma, but we're not seeing that. Oh, thank you, Grace. Yeah, we just don't know it. And what's unconscious like lives underneath the surface, and we don't know, and we don't know that we don't know. Like that's where that arises. But as soon as we say, oh, look what's happening here. I had this experience, and now I'm putting myself in a box and limited by my movements, my experiences, what I say, what I hear, what I see. And once that dissolves, and it really does dissolve, we're unrecognizable and completely in the present moment. I hate to say this, but like then we're dancing in the rain, right? Like there's nothing. So Jaycee and I were just visiting my son, AJ. And Jaycee, AJ, and I have participated in the Field of Awakening, which is in this oneness movement. And so all three of us, me, Jaycee, and AJ, have been exposed to how to consciously live from a beautiful state, unperturbed calm. We spent the whole day together, and man, AJ was moving into a new place. Things were working out, not working out. We had to travel and we hit traffic. It was just, there was so many opportunities for us to get upset. And none of us did. There was a time, I don't know if you remember this, Jaycee. I'm in my son AJ's new townhouse, and I hurt my toe. Like I fell over a box. And I think Jaycee and AJ were waiting for me to be upset but I wasn't. It was because, just like you said, Cynthia, I was just so happy to be with them.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much joy and love. And I don't know if you could, if everyone's catching it, that, right. Life occurs differently.
It's way more fun.
Yeah.
Way more fun. And you can just enjoy every single moment. And those things, like with traffic, then you leave a little earlier or a lot earlier, or you find another route. Think of water. There's always a way around. The water goes around the rocks. It doesn't go through the rock.
Well, it just unfolds. So I don't know what happens, but synchronicities happen. So I'll tell you a story of Jaycee, when she was in a beautiful state. She went to go catch the bus on the Lower East Side. She's like, damn, I missed it. And before she knows it, the bus stops and waits for her to get on the bus because she was radiant. I mean, that's what happens. And we all have those moments. Gracie, you do too. where did life just unfold beautifully for you because of just your essence and who you were being? We all have those stories.
And the universe always has your back.
Yes.
So appreciate it. Be grateful.
Or
What are
not,
some of the
if we're in a non-beautiful state, right? If we're chaotic and we're angry and we're revengeful, then chaos will occur.
And don't call me. Call Amy. She'll talk you out of it.
Please do. Please call me. It's my pleasure.
Eric, do you want to put up Amy's oneness class coming up recently?
Oh, the power of the beautiful state. Yeah.
The power of the beautiful state. Look at this. The power of the beautiful state, a life-changing 2-day workshop. Go ahead, Amy. Tell them about it.
Yeah. So it's all about this, right? So it's a 2-day deep dive into who we are and how to have a beautiful life. How do you have a beautiful life? You need to have a beautiful state. We discover our purpose here, and then we realize how to have the right actions that correlate with the divine intelligence of the universe. So that's what it is. It's like a triangle. How to have a beautiful life. It's a beautiful state. It's our purpose and the right actions. And we meditate. We are together for 2 days, and there's a lot of curriculum, and we do some yoga poses where we're breathing into our body, gaining clarity, clearing our chakra energy fields. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And this is held actually in person. So this is not a Zoom opportunity. The last one was a Zoom opportunity. This one's an in-person in North Palm Beach, Florida. And Jess was on last week, and she's with Egoscue, and it's being held at her facility.
Yes.
So see how it all comes together?
And Jess will be there.
We're all growing, getting better every single day. But there are still big misconceptions people have about relationships and connection. And I know that you've done a lot of study in this area, Amy. What are some of the biggest ones?
I would, so if I just look at relationships between men and women, usually for women, they think that men are some version of themselves, that somehow they think and feel like a woman. That's not true at all. And so, and maybe there's some smart women who know that. And one of the major disconnects is that we're not understanding that the feminine energy and masculine energy are completely different. And women, for the most part, need to connect for safety, and men, for the most part, need to produce a result to be safe and to feel that they are doing what they need to do. It's difficult to say this because sometimes women could go into masculine mode. Of course, women who are very successful, and I discovered this on Wall Street, we were like better men than they were, right? We became a better version of a man. And then we wonder why we're not dating effectively, because we didn't shift or transition to be in our femininity, because a heterosexual man doesn't necessarily want to be with, a masculine woman. So that's like a big disconnect. And then when you look at the brain science of why people don't connect, before I do that, so I was just with a client, and she really wanted her partner to understand why it's important to really get all the knowledge and the information first before we proceed, right? And we also, in coaching, we look at different assessments. So there's something called enneagrams, ENNEAGRAMS. And there's 9 different enneagrams that all of us somehow find ourselves in. So this particular person found herself where she feels safe in knowledge. So that's an Enneagram 5. For me, that's what keeps her safe. So here she could be talking to an Enneagram 9, which is all based in cooperation and collaboration. What do you need information for? Let's just get along. She could be talking to, I forgot if it's a 1 or a 3, which is, or me, I'm a 6, I'm based in loyalty. What do you need the information for? As long as we commit to each other, everything will work out. So it's really interesting that how we create connection, if we understand what's running our show now, what's running our brain, what's running our thought systems, what's running our belief system that we're now imposing on somebody else who's a completely different person. Let's bring awareness to what we're looking at or what's running our life, bringing the light to a blind spot, and then looking over there across the table and seeing, what does that person need? What does that person need for safety or collaboration or cooperation, or what are they looking for? And then coming from there. So when we go to the brain science of things, we have biases. We have things that put us in stress states. Sometimes we can meet somebody and we don't know why we are connecting, maybe because we're similar or we have a similar experience and it's an easy fit, or maybe we're dissimilar. So that's just the brain saying, oh, this person's not like us, they're dissimilar. We disconnect, but we could easily bring in, well, what is similar about us? What is the connection point? So we could relax and be connected. So it's just bringing in awareness, bringing in information. Did I answer the question?
And Amy, it could even go a little further if you go into who you are and you have an idea about something. And did your parents tell you that idea? Did your church? Did your school? Did your doctor? Where did it get in? How true is it really?
Right.
You got to have a clean slate. And is it really my opinion? Or did I just hear it so many times I think it's universal law? And then you go in and go,
Right. That's right.
How do you help clients shift from survival mode into calm and clarity?
Yeah. And it's just exactly what you said, Cynthia. It's like bringing in the awareness of what our beliefs are, what our judgment is, and to see, is that necessarily true? And is it true in this moment? So, you know this, there's something called the serene mind practice. So if we are in a stressful state, it's a 3 or 4 minute meditation that you could get on something called the Breathing Room app, or I think they have another app now, Cynthia, called Oneness Movement. You could also just Google it on YouTube and it's free, Serene Mind. It's 3 minutes and it puts us from a stressful state to a non-stressful state. And then to manifest our dreams, we have something called Soul Sync. You could also get that in either apps, the Breathing Room or Oneness Movement app, which is brand new. Once we heal, there's not and there's a range, but there's not much to hook us. So we're unavailable to new opinions and new points of views, or to hear where the other person is coming from. So we could effectively collaborate. That's what's the beauty of the beautiful state. And being available for other people. It's we're not judging. That's really what it is. So what happens with the mind, it's automatically divisive. So there's something called the negativity bias. So this is what we learned also on that program. It's like, not only is there just 2 states, either we're in a stressful state or in non-stressful state. brain science shows that we're either positive or negative. And what's happening today, as the world goes faster and things are unfolding the way they're unfolding, we're more likely to be in a negative state, in a negative mindset. And there is actually, everyone could Google it now, there is something called a negativity bias. But as soon as we know that, as soon as we realize we're judging, labeling, why do we judge and label? Because it gives us an opportunity to have a handle on the situation. Once we label somebody, oh, I know what that is. I know what that's all about. I could handle this. This person is so-and-so. This person acts like this. And then we feel like at least we could survive or stay safe in that, fight, flight, or freeze mode. But we don't need to do that when we're in a beautiful state. We're actually right.
And there's always more. There's no boxes. You're free. Don't get yourself stuck in a box. You got to be free and find out the other nuances, because you can learn something from every single person. Yes. Every single person has a special.
Absolutely. And we're all part of the divine, right? So one of the mantras, or one of the I don't want to say chants, but it's a chant or philosophy is, and one of the things we discover in the Power of the Beautiful State program is, I am you, you are me, we are one. We are all more alike than not alike. But our brain, because of the automaticity of the survival mode in the reptilian brain, keeps us separate, but we're really not. And there's more friendship and commonality than, divisiveness. It's an illusion. That's what I would say.
And Kevin, hi Kevin, he says light bulbs can be beautiful and life-changing. Yep, we're putting the flashlight in, or a candle. Here we go. Thanks for joining us tonight. What practical tools or daily habits can people adapt to live life more consciously?
Well, certainly you
use all those apps, but
yeah, use all those apps and realize that it is a practice and it is deliberate. It needs to be consistent, because it's not one and done. So if you look at it, going to the gym, can I just go to the gym and just go once and say, all right, now I'm fit? Or even me, I mean, I'm guilty of this. It's like I used to go to the gym every day, all the time. I'd spin, I would weight lift, I would train, and then I would think I could stay like that. And I did stay like that for a while, and then when I didn't go anymore, it was a COVID thing, right? And I was living in New York at the time, things atrophied. So in order to be in a beautiful state and cultivate that awareness and lack of reactivity, right? So that's really what a trauma is. We are reacting instead of pausing and responding. So the habits would be to have a practice where we are, looking at curriculum, meditating, shining the light on what our thoughts are, what our beliefs are, and really stopping and pausing and say, okay, well, instead of reacting like a knee-jerk reaction, stop. What am I committed to? I'm committed to peace, love, and harmony. I'm committed to everybody cooperating, collaborating. I'm committed to everyone getting along, or whatever the case may be, and then respond from that space. But it certainly is a practice.
And you can start first thing in the morning, even before you open your eyes. That breath, your lungs, your heart that keep working, and just go and set up your day. Set up your day with the 3 things you need to get done this day. Be grateful.
And the other thing is, Cynthia, is like, there's something called like we have to make sure all our tanks are filled, right? So we need to also take care of ourselves and our well-being. So make sure we have enough food, the right food, water, sleep, alone time, you name it, whatever everybody's different, time in nature, a walk, whatever we need so that we could be our best self.
Exactly. So how does conscious leadership differ from traditional leadership models? So here we are saying, oh, okay, wake up in the morning and do this. So you're conscious, you could just do it. Like it's just part of you. But traditionally, you would just get up, pick up your phone and go to work.
Yeah. Leadership is a little different, and there's all different leadership models, like transformational leadership. You could be telling people what to do. What I learned many years ago is always looking to see what the other person needs. So I always say, there's something called the partnership question. When we ask for something, for what we need to say, what is it that you need to give me what I'm asking for? And then immediately we are honoring and acknowledging and respecting the other person and seeing what do they need to give me what I'm asking for. And you're not just barking orders. I would, that's definitely being part of conscious leadership, because I'm honoring me, but I'm also honoring you.
And we're in this together.
Yes.
Much nicer that way. So what role does neuroscience play in your approach to transformation?
Yeah, basically it's that brain science. So there's biases that we have that will lead us to not making the best decision. So there's something, we talked a little bit about this, like we all want safety. So if we're always looking for safety, we may not be opening ourselves to new relationships, or maybe we're not taking that trip because we're afraid to fly, or, that's easy to see. But there's also something called an expedience bias. So our brain wants to be effective and efficient. We want to save our energy. We're an animal, right? That makes sense. But if time is the most important thing to us as a manager, when we're looking at, well, that's more like the distance bias. So expedience would be, all right, this person could start immediately and let me hire this person. But that might not be the best choice. We're better off maybe waiting a month for this other candidate to onboard, because that's a better choice. So we have something called an expedience bias, where our brain will automatically look to where can I get something done quickly. So is when we unfold all and look at, just like I say, shining a light on how my brain functions, that's going to put me in a disadvantaged state, or where we're just reacting and not stopping and thinking and responding so we can make our best choice. That's how the brain science comes in. Yeah.
Very interesting. Well put. So can you share a core principle from your Dale Carnegie training that you apply regularly?
Oh, wow. Yeah. So Dale Carnegie, we mostly talked about the 5 factors of success. And that was self-confidence, effective communication, people skills, leadership, and attitude. And one of my favorite pieces there is how to disagree agreeably. So, and this, you could go back to brain science. Nobody wants to be in a threat state. So nobody wants to hear, yes, that's a great idea, but blah, 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 blah. Because as soon as somebody hears but, we're like, you're negating everything that happened beforehand. So with Dale Carnegie, there's so many tricks and tools that we could use in our language that puts other people in a more inclusive state. So we could say that I hear what you're saying. That's wonderful. And then we say, instead of but, we use and. And let's look at it this way too. And it just eases the blow. But this is exactly what I was talking about, Cynthia. All these tools manage suffering, manages other people's reactions. And even though it's really effective and it's very good to have, what if you couldn't press our buttons? Then we wouldn't have to worry about how to say things, what to do. And that's exactly what happens with the power of the beautiful state and the oneness movement and the field of awakening and going to India like that.
Yeah, you're doing your homework. You're doing good. And you've done studies with Joe Dispenza and Alice
Oh, Joe Dispenza.
Armstrong.
Yes.
So what did they teach you that you incorporate daily?
Yeah. So, they all say, and I believe this. So really, what are we talking about? We're talking about enlightenment, right?
Mhm.
How to lead from a beautiful state, not have stress, not be all reactive from things that occur to us. And all roads lead to Rome, So like with Joe Dispenza, he was wonderful that we meditate and we go into a way to manifest our dreams. And how do you gain access to that? How do you stay proactive in creating the life that you love? And with Alison Armstrong, it was the relationships that you love. And in Dale Carnegie, it's with everybody. So in the power of the beautiful state, we're looking at harmony with ourselves, harmony with others, and harmony at work. And how do we get the curriculum and the new vision or point of view or perspective and the internal work that we do on ourselves to allow us to be free?
And
I'd say
you've done that for Fortune 100 leaders too.
yes.
So
yes,
what's your
yes.
biggest leadership insight that you share with top executives?
Oh, well, that was let me just see. What was something? Mostly it was with teamwork.
Mhm.
I would say it's leading a team and having employees that are happy and collaborative, that actually go the extra mile and participate in company functions and are happy to do that. And, how do you, so I'm trying to think of an example of what happened there. Yeah, I don't have any story that's standing out, but that is the thrust of it, to be inclusive, get your work done, and see the bigger picture where all the silos are collaborating and working together. So like the marketing team isn't just concerned about the marketing budget, but would be considerate to the accounting team that has constraints, or just cooperation and collaboration.
Working together in a perfect state.
Yes, yes.
So you have someone, how would you help them navigate from a challenging relationship to a place of conscious awareness, either in their home life or in their work life?
Yeah, so it's again looking to see what's our part. It's what's my part, what's their part. And because it's a partnership, right? So in the word partnership is actually the word part. And first seeing if I'm on my side, if I'm reactive to anything that's going on, and take care of me. When we collaborate with anyone, I I don't want to say should not, but it would be best served for everybody to first come from unperturbed calm in a beautiful state, and then see what's needed on the other side and bring in cooperation. A lot of times, Cynthia, when I work with clients, I'm also bringing in, let's jump compassion and empathy. What do you think's going on over there? You know, mostly people are in their point of view, their stress, what they need. And we're not taking the time to say, oh my goodness, what's happening over there? This person is hurting or in pain or is in suffering or needs something other than what I could provide. So it's constantly looking at what's happening with me internally and what's happening over there, and coming with loving kindness and compassion and inclusivity. I would
And
say.
maybe what they're doing is so good and so joyful, and they're making their numbers and they're having a beautiful mother-daughter relationship, and you go, oh, I want some of that. How they do that?
Yeah. I would say that a lot has shifted between me and my friends and my parents and my children and clients.
So beautiful. So how do you personally maintain a state of joy and alignment amidst life's challenges, Amy?
Yeah, so every morning I meditate, I do some yoga poses, I'm looking at curriculum, I'm taking care of me. And when I see, look, oh, I have this great distinction that we've all learned. There's making sure if there's a problem, and there'll always be problems. We're alive in this 3D world. Realize that the problem is outside of us and not to internalize it. Because once we internalize it, it's chaos. So the problem is outside, come from a beautiful state, and then do the right actions. Remember I said, the beautiful mind, what we need to do, and then the right actions. And if I see that I am triggered, it's like a wave. It comes up, I notice it, I bring awareness to it. Is it a brain bias? Is it a past trigger point for me? And then once I shine the light on that, I don't have to have that stay anymore. It's like a wave and it just crashes, and then I come from a beautiful state. But I'm doing my meditation every day and staying active in programs.
Beautiful. And what's the most rewarding aspect of your 15, 20-year career in human transformation?
Well, this is why I asked Jaycee to come. I would say the most important thing for me is
Hello from the down under.
Yeah, hi Jake. Is that finally, right? Because I'm 63. I have been doing this for years and years and years. Whether how to have a loving relationship, and I could tell you, it's with my children. Being with my parents who are ill, and not healthy. How to have loving compassion for them. Making a contribution to my clients. It just fills my heart with, love and joy. I would say Jaycee's like my best friend.
I love that.
It's phenomenal. And Jaycee and I were just talking to a friend of mine who, her daughter, is the same age as Jaycee. And typically, when there's a whole routine with a comedian, they say, oh, you see your mother's calling, and you're like, oh, I don't want to pick up the phone, or mom, not now. Or my other friend wants to go visit her daughter and say, well, I'll come to you. You don't have to come to me. That was what what it was like. It was the typical relationship. So the biggest breakthrough is discovering the power of a beautiful state, living from it, so I could have joy and love with my children and in my life. And yeah, so that's what I would say.
And then that bubbles over into everything else, and you've got little happy drops flying through the
Yes.
air, flying through the universe, multiplying, jumping on other little happy drops that go, "Oh, I love life."
Yeah.
What practices or developments in your field excite you currently? New stuff, new developments?
Well, the only thing that I'm looking at now, which is interesting, is AI. You know, like, could AI coach somebody? And I think that that's so far, no. You know, I'm going to be on a seminar soon on how AI could help, but, you know, there's something magical in human interaction when you are with somebody, whether it's on Zoom or even on the phone. I mean, the energy
Or
transfer.
even right here.
Right. Like, and I see you. It's, you know, there's a feeling I have. I don't think, you know, AI can't feel yet. So
Yeah, and then you can get them doing all the stuff that you don't want to do, so we can have more of this. So you can
Yeah.
be more in your.
I
in your
think, well,
happy
Jaycee,
place.
you were telling me where we're headed with that, you know, that we might.
I'm not taking that one on.
Yeah, just like it's amazing. It could just, yeah. So AI is moving quickly.
Yes, I want the robot that will do the dishes or mow the lawn, like, you
It's
know, making
happening.
the beds. I like to make my bed, but you know, all the other ones
Yeah, it's around the corner.
perfectly. So they look like they came out of a European magazine with the blankets and everything, just perfect. But as we almost run out of time, Amy, what's the most important message you like viewers to take away from our conversation today?
Well, oh, call me. You know, I'm offering a free 15-minute consultation, right? Go to amyramsoncoaching.com, go get a 15-minute appointment, and let's talk and see how we could manifest a beautiful state in your world and reach your goals. And, you know, I would say like that. That's what I would leave people with, or register for the beautiful state. But call me. I would love to talk to you.
And Jaycee?
Oh, no, call my mom for help. That's what I would say.
No, but Jay, they could go to you. You.
Oh,
You're an artist. You're a social media manager.
I do a bunch of different things, and I'm in my own world, but I'm just here supporting my mom, and she helps me every day. So I know that she's going to help you too. So that's great. Yeah.
Oh, so spread a little love and tenderness. Finally, what's one powerful intention that you're setting for yourself this year?
For me, for Jaycee, for all of us.
Yeah, for all of us.
My goal is always a world that works for everyone. Peace on earth. That's
beautiful. That works. Want to add to that, Jaycee?
Hers is nicer than mine. I mean, that's really kind, and I believe in that as well. Personally, I'm just working on healing and doing all the work to be my best self every day, so that I could help others and be in a beautiful state for those around me. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Cynthia Manion Show. Share it out. Share it with your friends. Let them know where they can get together with Amy and Jaycee and the women that we had, well, women and men, for the last 81 weeks. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Cynthia Manion Show. Make good choices. Have a great week.
Make good choices.